Hey guys, welcome back. These glasses are like making the weirdest glare ever. So I'm a mess right now. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Natasha if it is your first time here, and today's video is part 1 of my decluttering series. So the year is coming to an end, the Sephora VIB sale is going on, and I'm ready to just kind of like declutter, get rid of some stuff, clean some stuff up, get ready for 2020. Still is blowing my mind that it's about to be 2020. So for today's declutter part 1 of the series, I think I'm going to do powders, primers, and setting sprays, because those are like the 3 things that I think I have the least to declutter out of. It's like my smallest category of things. So I'm going to go ahead and start decluttering. But first I'm going to give you like an overlay of my desk, like what everything looks like, so you can kind of just like get an idea of what I'm working with here. So I'm gonna flip you over and show everything, and then we'll like get to it. So here's just kind of like the basic overlay of the top of my desk here. You can see me in my little mirror. So I basically have like my brushes, eyeliners, lip liners, stuff like that on the top, and then over here I have all my setting sprays, this acrylic container that I keep like mascaras and tools and you know, stuff like that. And then the eyeshadow palettes that I'm like using the most right now, or I want to like try out, I keep up top. And my desk is basically this like piece of wood and 2 Alex drawers from IKEA, and they're not even like screwed in or anything. It just works really well for what I got going on. So let's get to it. Oh my god, my dirty ass closet over there. Like, just don't even look at it. So let's get to the decluttering. Okay, so here we are. Here is my powder drawer. So I don't really have like a whole lot in here, but I do know there is a few things that I want to get rid of, so I'm gonna just like jump right into it. So the first thing I have here that I know I'm like gonna get rid of is this Flower Beauty, what is this, the Miracle Glow satin finishing powder. Firstly, like, the container is just so huge, and that's really not a big deal, but I did not like the way this powder looked on my skin. It was kind of like glittery, and I expected it to be like, I heard so many great things about it, and I just did not like it. I felt like it made my skin look really glittery and really like I was putting like a shimmer all over like my face for a setting powder. It like just didn't really work, so I'm gonna declutter this. The next thing I have is this Too Faced Born This Way translucent powder. Well, what is this called? Too Faced Born This Way ethereal setting powder. So I am going to keep this. This is one of my favorite setting powders, but I do feel like it is kind of heavy, so I don't necessarily like to use it under my eyes. I like to use it on my face and on my neck if I bring makeup down on that. So I am going to be keeping this guy. Next thing I have is this Laura Mercier translucent glow powder. I really do like this. The thing I like about this versus the Flower Beauty one is it's a lot thinnerly milled, I think, and the shimmers are like micro shimmers. So I wouldn't necessarily use this to set under my eyes, but to put it all over the face, it gives a really nice glow. And then next I have just the classic Laura Mercier translucent powder. This is one of my favorite powders to set my under eyes. I use this, I would say, like 60-70% of the time, so I'm definitely going to be keeping this. I'm like all over the place right now. Okay, so the next thing I have here is a pressed powder, and this is the e.l.f. What is this? Finishing powder. So I do really like this powder. It pulls a little dark on camera, but it is in the shade Fairlight, and it is so sheer. Like, this is something that I would use under my eyes or just like a really light dusting on my face. I don't necessarily use this for coverage, but I am going to keep this because this is a really nice sheer pressed powder. I have these 2 no filter setting powders from ColourPop. I have the shades Fair and the shades Light. So there's Fair, and here is Light. I'm going to get rid of the shade Light because it's way too dark for me. I ended up buying them both when it came out because I wasn't sure what shade I needed necessarily, but Light is just too dark for me, a little bit too orange, so I'm going to keep the Fair one and I'm going to get rid of the Light. So next thing I have is this Flower Beauty Light Illusion Perfecting Powder. Same thing with this powder. It's just too dark for me, and this is the lightest shade it comes in. This is Porcelain, and I feel like it's a little too orange, a little dark for me, so I am going to be getting rid of this. The next thing I have here is this, what is this? The Wet n Wild Cover All Pressed Powder in Fair Light. This one as well is just a little too dark, but it is very sheer like the e.l.f. powder, so I feel like I can get away with keeping this one. This is a great drugstore option if you're looking for a powder, so I'm going to be keeping this. So the next guy we have here is the RCMA No Color Setting Powder. I really wanted this to work out for me, and you can tell that I used quite a bit of it, but I just found that it was too dry for me, and I just didn't like the way it made my skin feel. I kept like forcing myself to use it, thinking that I would like fall in love with it, but I just didn't really like it, so I'm going to go ahead and declutter this. The next powder I have, you can see like the reflection in there, is this Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powder. Man, that's like a tongue twister to say. I love this powder. This is one of my favorite touch-up powders. I don't necessarily like to use this as my initial powder for like setting my face or my under eyes, but this is like my purse powder. This is the one I take with me when I want to do touch-ups throughout the night, and I find that it works really well for that. So the next thing I have here is a travel-sized Hourglass Veil Setting Powder. I am going to keep this because it is a nice little travel size. Even though it's not my favorite setting powder there is, I still think that it's a nice powder. It works great. It does crease up a little bit. It is a little dry for me, but it is such a nice little travel one that I'm going to be keeping it just for that. Next, we have this Becca Aqua Luminous. This is the Hydra Mist Set and Refresh Powder. I have talked about this before in a video. I love this powder just because it's so cooling and it's so fun, so I am going to keep it. It's not a great like everyday powder, but it is a nice powder to just kind of keep in rotation, so I am going to keep this guy. I bought this Laura Mercier like velour puff a while ago, and I don't know if I just like don't know how to use it right, but I feel like it just doesn't work for me the way it works for other people, so I'm going to keep it, but I'm kind of like, why did I buy this? So the next powder I have here is the Thrive Cosmetics Soft Focus HD Setting Powder. I really love this powder. I think it's a great setting powder. I use it. This is what I go in between. The Laura Mercier and this powder is like what I go back and forth with the most, so I'm definitely keeping this guy. Next up, we have the Cover FX. This is a mini sized of the translucent powder. I'm going to be getting rid of this because I think it's just too dry for me. I already have dry skin, and so this powder kind of makes my skin feel like it's about to crack. So I'm going to get rid of this guy. We have the ColourPop No Filter Setting Loose Powder. I'm going to get rid of this as well for the same reasons. It's just too dry. I don't like powders that are too dry. I have enough that I don't need to keep around ones that I'm not going to use, so goodbye. Man, we're clearing out here. All right. Next thing I have is another pressed powder. This is the Essence Brighten Up Banana Powder, and this is not a setting powder. This is like a brightening finishing powder. So if you, after you put on your bronzer and everything, you feel like you need to like lighten up your under eyes, highlight up your chin or anything, this is a great matte powder for that, and it's so cheap. I think it was like $3 at Ulta. So I am definitely keeping this. Alright, this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Loose Setting Powder in Translucent. I'm going to keep this because I'm still kind of trying it out, seeing how I like it, but I kind of have similar feelings to the RCMA No Color Powder. It's super white, and this one does like super brighten your face, but it is a little dry. I'm going to keep trying it out, see how I like it, because it is a newer product. I like don't want to get rid of it just yet, so I'm going to hold on to it for now. And then lastly, this is the CoverGirl True Blend Minerals Translucent Powder. I'm going to get rid of this guy just because it's a little too dark for my skin. It's a little dry. I creased a lot when I used this, and I did go hard on this powder for like a month. I really wanted to love it because it was a loose setting powder from the drugstore, but man, it just didn't really work out for me. Wow, it already looks so much better. If you've been like staring at this stuff, this is like random little like tech stuff I have in here. This is like a little fan that you can plug into your phone, and it just like is a fan. Like that's what it is. And then this is just like my photo timer thing for my camera. And then I have some like eye drops back here. So, and that's it. That's my powder drawer. It looks so much better already. So let's move on. I think we're going to do primers next. Alright, so here is my primer drawer. It's a mess. Has no rhyme or reason to it. I'm going to just start busting through it. So the first thing I have here is this MAC Strobe Cream in Gold Light. I'm going to declutter this just because I feel like it's like 100 years old and it's probably like just fallen apart and gross on the inside. But this is a pretty good primer. I just kind of moved on to other glowy things and so I stopped using this. So goodbye. The next thing I have here is this Milk Makeup Luminizing Blur Stick. I'm going to actually get rid of this as well because I found it to be really kind of dry and stiff and it was hard to put all over my face, and I don't know why. I felt like so many people really loved this, but it just didn't work out for me. Next we have this Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen SPF 40. This isn't necessarily a primer, but sometimes I just will use a sunscreen as a primer because it's easy. I'm going to keep this because I really like it and I find it wears really well under makeup. Next thing is this Wander Beauty Glow Ahead Illuminating Face Oil. I'm going to get rid of this. I got this in a BoxyCharm a few months ago and I used it for like 2-3 weeks straight and I just didn't find that it did anything, so I'm not going to hold on to it if I'm never going to reach for it. So next I have quite a few different primers from Touch in Sol, and I honestly think I've gotten all of these in BoxyCharm, and I don't necessarily think they're bad primers, but they just don't react well to my skin. I notice that they make my skin feel really red and almost like a little hot, and I get these like little bumps when I use it. There's an ingredient in their primers, and I've noticed it's just every time I use a Touch in Sol product that it does that. So I'm going to get rid of these just because they irritate my skin, and I'm not going to keep something that irritates my skin. The next product I have here is this Supergoop Glow Stick Sunscreen SPF 50. I'm going to keep this because I do really like it, but I will say that I hate the packaging. So it has like a plunger in it. You like push it up like you would a deodorant or something, and then it comes out. But if you push it up too far, which I've done, I've literally wasted probably 60-70% of this product. There's no way to push it back down and then it just gets gross. So I'm going to use it because I like it, but I'm not going to repurchase it because the packaging sucks. Alright, next, you already know the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. This is one of my favorite face primers of all time, so I'm 100% going to keep this guy. We have the Becca Backlight Priming Filter. I just reused this in a recent Shop My Stash video, and I loved it, so I'm definitely going to keep this guy. The Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Hydrating Primer. I'm going to keep this. I haven't used this and tried this out as much as I want to, so I'm going to keep it in because I want to keep like using it, see how I really feel about it. Okay, moving on. Next thing I have is this Too Faced Hangover RX Replenishing Face Primer. I'm going to keep this. This is a really basic, just hydrating face primer. I really like this one. This is like a classic. This is the Pixie Beauty H2O Skin Drink Hydrating Primer. I'm going to get rid of this one just because it's so old and I haven't used it in forever, but I do think it's a good hydrating primer from the drugstore. It's a little bit more expensive because I feel like Pixie is a little bit more expensive, but I think it's a nice one if you're interested in trying it out. We have the Ulla Hendrickson Banana Bright Face Primer. I'm keeping this. I love this primer. This is a great primer to wear even if you're not wearing any makeup because it's going to give you a nice glow to your face. Definitely keeping this guy. We have two different Laura Mercier face primers. We have the Hydrating and the Primer Protect SPF. I'm keeping both of these. I think Laura Mercier makes great primers, so you should definitely look into those if you're a Laura Mercier fan. And lastly, we have the Flower Beauty In Your Prime Hydrating Primer. This is a great hydrating primer from the drugstore, but it is very basic. I feel like every brand has a primer like this, but it is a nice one. It does keep you hydrated, so I'm going to be keeping this guy as well. Let me just... And that's it. That's a primer drawer. It looks a lot better now. Like I said, I have these random acrylic containers in my drawers. No rhyme, no reason. Let's move on and do the setting sprays. Okay, so here are the setting sprays. Like I said, I keep them all on top of this acrylic container. If it is a little like blown out in the background, it's because I have my blinds open. It's a window right there. I really wanted to keep this video natural light just because I like that look. I thought it would be fun for a decluttering video to try to do it all in natural light, make it feel like you're really here with me and we're not just like, you know, with the big studio lights on and stuff. So let's go through my setting sprays. I'm going to start on this side here. So the first one I have here is the Coola SPF 30 Face Setting Makeup Spray. I just got this summer. This is a pretty nice setting spray. It's a really nice frosted glass bottle. It is a matte finish, so I have to like go over it with the glowy spray or else I like can't stand it. But it is a really nice setting spray with SPF in it, which is always nice to kind of just refresh throughout the day. Or if you're like going to the pool or something, you can just take this with you and just mist it on throughout the day. So then I have the e.l.f. Dewy Setting Mist. I believe this one is in a coconut scent. I'm going to get rid of this guy just because I find myself not using it because of the sprayer on it. I find the sprayer just spritzes out way too thick and it kind of messes up my makeup more than it fixes it. So I'm going to declutter this because I literally just never even reach for it. Next we have the Pixie Glow Mist. This is a really great luminizing face mist from the drugstore. This one I feel like is really comparable to like the Tatcha Dewy Mist. This is like a third or fourth bottle that I've bought in. It's full right now because it's brand new, so I'm definitely going to keep this. This is a really great glowy face mist if you're looking for one through the drugstore. And then next we have this Pixie Makeup Fixing Mix. I actually haven't even used this one yet. It still has like the plastic on it. So I'm excited to try this one out. I literally just got this from Target a few days ago. It's just kind of like their basic makeup setting mist. And I heard someone say this was comparable to like a MAC Fix Plus from the drugstore. So I really wanted to get it and try it. Okay. Next thing I have here is this Wet n Wild Photo Focus Setting Spray. I am getting rid of this mainly because I think it stinks. It smells like spit to me. And I know that's like super random, but it literally just smells like spit to me. It makes me gag when I smell it, so I'm getting rid of it just because the smell is like so gross. The next product I have here is the Flower Beauty Seal the Deal Hydrating Setting Spray. This is a really great hydrating setting spray from the drugstore. It's not necessarily like illuminating. It's just nice. It gives your skin like a nice refresh. It doesn't make it matte. It doesn't tighten it down. It's just like a nice basic setting spray. So this is a really good one. And I actually saw that Flower Beauty came out with an illuminating one, so I'm on the hunt for that. Next, we have the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dewy Set Setting Spray. I love this setting spray. It has a really strong scent to it, but it is really refreshing. It does leave your skin really dewy, really luminous. I really like this one, so I'm going to be keeping this guy. I have a travel size Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. I don't use this very often, but I do use this if I'm like going out, if I know I'm going to be gone all day, if it's like really important to me that my makeup sets and stays. I use this guy. It's just a classic. And this one I don't use every day because I feel like it's so intense that I only need it on nights where I'm like trying to pull an all-nighter, you know? We have the infamous Tatcha Lumis Dewy Skin Mist. I love this setting spray. It is really expensive, so I try to like use it liberally, but you can tell it's like almost empty here. This is an amazing dewy setting spray. You hardly need any. It's so beautiful. If you are wanting to splurge on it, I would say it's worth it. But if not, I mean, there's pretty comparable cheaper sprays that you can get. Alright, next I have two setting sprays from MAC. I have the original Fix Plus, which you can tell is like pretty much empty, and then I have the Fix Plus Gold Light, which basically just has like the shimmer through it. I'm going to get rid of this Fix Plus that's like basically empty because I haven't used it in forever and it's just, you know, sitting there rotting away. So I'm going to get rid of this guy. But I am going to keep the Fix Plus in Gold Light because I really like this on the body more than I like the face, or like sprayed on my legs or on my shoulders or something. If I'm wearing a strapless top, I think this is really pretty. So I'm going to keep it just for that. Next, I have the Cover FX Dewy Finishing Setting Spray. I love this setting spray. The mist on it is so fine. It's like you almost don't even feel it on your face. This is a great setting spray. I have repurchased this. I'm going to keep this for sure. If you can't tell, I like a dewy hydrating mist on my face. This guy is one of my favorites. Next, I have this Prime and Fine Dewy Glow Fixing Mist from Catrice. This is a drugstore setting spray. It's literally almost gone. It is so cheap. I think it's like $6, and it is so good. This one, I think, from the drugstore is the setting spray I have found the most comparable to the MAC Fix Plus. I love this stuff. It's always sold out on Ulta, and I like try not to use it very often, especially when it gets low like this, because it's just so good. I definitely am going to order more on Ulta if they're in stock. I would totally recommend this one. It's super cheap and it is so bomb. This is the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Ultra Fine Face Mist. This smells like a Jolly Rancher. It smells so good, and the mist is so fine, just like it says. It comes out almost as fine as the Cover FX one. It is such a good mist, such a good smell, and it just adds this nice glow to my face. Not a shimmer. I wouldn't say it like illuminates it with glitter or anything. It's just a nice glow, and the smell is like everything to me. It smells like a Jolly Rancher, and I just like, it's like a highlight to putting my makeup on is getting to use this mist. Next, we have the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. This mist is bomb because it's an aerosol and it comes out so fine. This one is really great. I do like this. You get it from the drugstore. Well, I mean Ulta, I guess. It's pretty cheap. This is a great setting spray. I don't think it makes my makeup last longer, but I do feel like it makes it meld into my skin so nicely. Next, I have this Super Goop Setting Mist SPF Sunscreen 50. I just got this, so I haven't really tested it out very much. It does have a nice mist to it. I don't know how well the sunscreen is on it, but I am really interested in like setting sprays and facial mist that have SPF in it, because I think it's just like so cool to like throw in your purse and take with you if you're going on a bike ride or to the river, or if you're just having a long day, like just mist your face with a little SPF. It's super dope to me. And then lastly, I have this one from Pixi. This is the Pixi Sun Mist SPF with chamomile and bamboo. This says it's SPF 30. This is a brand new one. You can still see the plastic on it. I have used this spray before, and I like it just for the same reasons I've said for the other SPF mists. I really like the idea of being able to randomly mist my face and my body throughout the day with an SPF. And this one's really nice. It doesn't go on chunky. It doesn't like mattify the face too much. Smells really good, easy to take with you, and that's that. So here are all of my setting sprays, nice and decluttered. That was fun. Alright guys, I'm all done decluttering. This is everything I'm getting rid of in my powders, my primers, my setting sprays. It's actually like a little bit more than I thought that I was going to be getting rid of. So stuff that's like really, really old, I'm just gonna throw away. Other stuff, I'm gonna let like my friends and family pick through and see if they want it, with like the powders and some of these like fuller products. I feel like they'll definitely want it. But something that's like really old, I'm just gonna toss because that's gross. So I hoped you enjoyed it. I hoped you enjoyed my little declutter. Let me flip you around on my face. And that's it. That's my decluttering for my part 1 of decluttering. I did powders, setting sprays, primers. The next one I will probably do, God, there's my dirty closet trying to like come in again. The next one I'll probably do foundations and concealers, and then, you know, so on and so forth. You've seen a decluttering video before. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post on YouTube every Tuesday and Friday. I'll link my other social medias down here as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!